Hello. It's winter. It's winter here in Finland, and the past 3 or 4 weeks it's been down to minus 32 degrees centigrade. There's no way I'm stopping out in a tent in that kind of temperature. I'm adventurous, and a few minus degrees is fine, but minus 30 is life-threateningly cold. So I'll think of something else to post in the next week or so, but in the meantime, here's one I made earlier. You ready, dear?
Yes.
Yes?
I am.
Should we do it then?
Yes. Let's start.
Hi, try something new today. In a previous video I looked briefly at one of my alcohol and pot stands, the Bushcraft Essentials Ultralight. It's you can use it in two ways, either for a alcohol stove, or you can also use it as a wood burner stove, a Twig stove, which I've never used it like that before. It's for emergency, if I run out of fuel or need for some reason to forage and find some wood in the forest and use it as a stove. Well, there it is, it's a backup. Never used it as that, so let's fire it up, have a go. A while ago I did a review of 3 different types of cook system that I use, and this is part of one of them. This is the Bushcraft Essentials Bushbox Ultralight, bit of a mouthful. A very lightweight system that builds up in a couple of different ways. First one, you build it up to house an alcohol burner like a Trangia, which is what I normally use this for. Well, it's what I always use this for. And it acts as a windshield and also as a pot stand. But you can build it up in a slightly different configuration like this and use it as a twig burner. I've never used it like this before. This was just a test to see how it works if I ever need to use it as a twig burner. So I'll quick review on that to see how I found it and a few of the pros and cons. So you can see I put in there already birch bark as a fire starter, fire lighter. It burns really well, and even when wet I believe it'll still burn. But please don't go peeling it off trees, living trees. It'll damage the tree. If you find a down tree already, then you can peel it off that, of course, and use it, and it is very, very good. And then the wood I've used is just wood that I've found from our woodshed, and it's come from properly sourced supplier. That's the Trangia kettle. Very lightweight, and that's what I usually use. Sparkly clean. Before I did this, there was not a spot of soot or anything on it. Beautiful and clean. Not when I finish though. All right, let's have a look and see how it goes. One of the things I found is that you have to constantly keep it topped up. The wood that you put inside these things, they can't be big pieces of wood. They won't fit, of course, so it's fairly small pieces of wood. And you need a constant supply, so you need to make sure you've got enough wood before you even start, because it gets through quite a lot of these little twigs and things, and you have to keep topping it up. I thought I'd got plenty, but I almost ran out. So make sure you've got plenty of wood to put in it before you start, and keep the fire going. Alright, before we start, let's have a look at this Bushcraft Essentials pot stand. I'll try and build it for you on camera. They say it's easy. It is quite easy, but somehow I always seem to find it a little bit of a faff, I have to say. So there are 3 wall pieces. This clips into this, twist it and it locks. And then the second one, like this, twist it, it locks. Then somehow I have to put this in the bottom and support it without it falling apart, and lock the 3rd pieces together. Which, if I'm lucky this time, I've done it first time. There we go. No, I haven't. That's not in properly. There. So that's it. This side is open. It has an opening, you can see. So that's where I can feed the twigs and sticks. If I use it as a little stove like that, then this base will be in the top slot, and then in the bottom slot I'll put this ash collector so the ash doesn't drop on the floor. But if I'm using the burner, then it goes in the bottom like that. The Trangia fits very nicely inside, perfect fit, and also it's the perfect height for a pot to sit, about an inch, 2.5–3 centimeters from the flame. There's a little boat going past, if you can hear it. Hope it doesn't disturb too much. Fishermen interested in what I'm doing. So that's that. And then here on the top I've got a little pot stand which I can clip on. Pot will fit on this anyway, but this is a little bit extra piece to fit on the top. And then this this hole is big enough that I can, when I want to extinguish the flame, just put the lid through the hole and put it out. So that's that. That's how I build it up then. You can see that video I mentioned. I'll put a link at the end of this one actually, so you can see the whole video. Pros and cons. What are the pros and cons of using this kind of system? I'll put a few down here. The pros, not so many pros actually, if I'm honest. No need to carry fuel with you. If you use it as a twig burner, you can find the fuel in the forest. It's good as an emergency if you do take alcohol with you and use it for that and run out or need some extra, you decide to stay out longer. Well, then you can use it as a twig burner. It's nice to have a real fire actually at the end of the day. That's nice. That's an advantage. The disadvantages, I have a few more disadvantages actually. First of all, it's very messy, so lots of soot on the bottom. You can see already on the bottom of that kettle the amount of black soot on that, and it's very tar-like. It sticks to everything. It's very difficult to get off your skin if you get it on your skin. So I didn't want to put that back in. I'd hate to put that in a backpack actually after I'd used it. I'd try and clean it off as much as possible, and I scrubbed it in a sink, to be honest, after I'd finished, to get it all cleaned up. So it's very messy. What else did I put here? You need to get enough wood to be able to use it, so you need to scavenge and find enough wood to keep it going. You constantly need to feed it with wood. It is classed as a open campfire, this thing, so if there's a forest fire warning and a campfire bad, you're not allowed to use it like this. So you have to check the regulations where you are and when you're going to be camping, that can you actually use the thing or not. Could be difficult to start. I use those birch bark pieces, which work fine. They're very good. It does work, but you need to be able to find that as well. Or you need to take with you some kind of fire starter to make sure that you can get the things started. It can be a bit difficult. And it's quite slow, of course, but then I'm not so worried about that. It's nice to be out in the forest and take your time with these things. I'm not in any hurry, so it's nice to watch the thing burn and spend a little bit of time watching it. So, but if you don't like to hang around, then it is a slow way to heat your water. So those are some of the disadvantages, of course. It's more disadvantages than advantages. Will I be using it again? Oh, yeah, definitely as an alcohol stove. I'll always use it to carry to house the Trangia. As a twig burner, no, I won't be using it as a twig burner. Can you spot the woodpecker in the tree? I had a woodpecker at this point up there somewhere. Coffee I'm using here is normal filter coffee, but it's pan coffee, it's called. It's got a picture of a pan there rather than a coffee machine. Basically it's the same bean as normal filter coffee, but it's just ground a little bit coarser. And you shouldn't need to use any filter with this stuff, but I invariably manage to get the coffee powder, the grinds into the coffee at the end. So I use another little product to help with that, which I'll show you in a minute. The mug I use here is a Sea to Summit X mug, collapsible X mug with cool grip. So that means that it's got some kind of heat sink surface, and it's not so hot to hold. It works. It's a good little product, that. And then on top of that, I'm putting a GSI Outdoors Ultralight Java Drip coffee filter. That's another mouthful. That's a great little product. €18 I can buy it for in Finland. And it's super light, doesn't weigh anything. It's good quality. I can't see that it's going to go wrong anytime soon. So it's very easy to carry. And if you like your coffee, if you like your filter coffee when you're out and about, that's what I'll use. I'll heat the water with alcohol stove or gas, and put the coffee in it and then filter it through that GSI Outdoors filter. Works a treat. Good cup of coffee I can get from that. And I do like my coffee in the morning when I'm out and about. Strong filter coffee, tastes great, wakes you up in the morning. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe and like if you enjoyed it, and see you on the trail. Cheers. Yeah. Very good.